Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Edna White, the host of Keeping It Real on Purpose. I thought I heard some feedback there for a moment. And today we have a special guest, Chauntae Hollis. And we want to thank her for being here today. So we're going to get started with the show. And you guys, you know that this is all about real talk with life coaches. So we're excited to hear what Chauntae has to say. Again, this is Chauntae Hollins, and she's a strong Black woman's coach. She's taking strength by helping them prioritize themselves, rewrite their narratives, and reclaim control over their lives. With over 20 years of experience, she is exceptionally skilled at connecting with others, and her genuine judgment free approach has been instrumental in helping women feel safe, ensuring they've been heard, and inspire them into action. She is she is a professional counselor. She has a master's in life coaching, psychology. I'm sorry, bachelor's in psychology, and a professional life coaching certification. I want to introduce you to, again, Chauntae Hollins. Welcome to the
Yes,
show.
thank you so
So
much for
much for me
having
to read there, girl. I was like, oh, I got tongue tied there.
thank you so much for having me on your show.
You're welcome. So tell us what strong um, strong woman is. Tell me about that.
The strong Black woman is the woman who shows up for everybody and does everything for everybody else. She is expected to not show any emotion. She's
Hmm.
expected to overcome and endure everything, and she typically
Absolutely.
puts herself last in all
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
always said, for me, strong woman, trying to be a strong woman almost killed me. And I'm
Yep.
not doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. I am being vulnerable and authentic all the way. And if
Mhm.
it's not right for some, it's just not right for some. It's
That's
just like,
right. That's right.
you know?
That's exactly what I tell my clients. It's really not strength. It's really killing you.
Yeah, it's killing you.
Yeah,
Yeah. When we see
absolutely.
that often, and I know as two Black women that really cater to, and not that we're just singling everybody out, but we cater to our, Black women and
Hmm.
girls. So seeing that, you almost want to say, as you know, I know because you have a psychology degree, you almost want to say, knock it off. But as a coach, you have to ask the right question.
Right,
It's like
right, right.
it's
Because when
so
you
hard.
when you tell someone to what to do, they may or may not accept that, right? They
Yeah.
may not trust you, they may have some experiences that gets in the way, but
Yeah.
when you help guide them and help them find the answers
Yeah.
themselves,
Yeah.
it's just more meaningful.
Yeah. It is.
Absolutely. And it gives them a new kind of strength, and it gives
Oh,
them
sure.
a new kind of confidence to know that, hey, I had this in me all along. I
All
just
along.
someone to help me bring it out. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Often when I get on my mommy hat or when I'm working with younger teens and I start to put on the mommy hat or I get adults that I want to like shake.
Mhm.
And then I remember in iRobot and how the guy was a hologram and Will Smith was asking all these questions. I don't remember his name in that scene, but he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
asking all the questions. No, he wasn't asking the questions. He's like, you know, he was he was talking to him like he was there, and he's like, "You're not asking the right question."
Yeah.
And I have to remember, I have to ask questions because we get in our emotions and our need to nurture sometimes with when we coach get in the way.
Right.
How do you navigate that?
Oh my gosh, it's all about me ensuring that the person that I'm talking to is in the driver's seat. I have to remind myself this is their journey. And
Yeah.
so I am a mother, and I have to remind myself you're not talking to your child right
Yeah.
now. You're talking
It's
to
true.
someone who is in control of
Yeah.
their own lives. And just like when we get in a vehicle and we're going somewhere that we're not familiar
Mhm.
with, we've never been before, we use our GPSs. Back in the day, we used our maps and our
Yeah.
maps go and things like that. But just like um, when you get in your car,
Mhm.
even if you've never been there before, you're not familiar with the area, it does not mean you're not capable of driving the car. It just means you
Yeah.
need guidance, you need some direction. So
Mhm.
when I get in that mode of wanting to just say, do this, do this, do this, do
Right.
this, I have to remember this person's driving the car. You're just aiding with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guidance and the
Yeah,
instruction.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good example. Very good example. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So, I want to stay on this journey of Black women because I think it's
Mhm.
so imperative to kind of speak about it and draw that part out. Um, Oftentimes, and I know you've probably seen it. We work with clients that have give everything. Because we're nurturers by nature, and we
Right.
give everything. How do you navigate a client from not doing that, but not telling them not to do it?
I think when you validate their desire to want to help, like it's not bad to want to help,
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
helping them see that they can only give as much as they have within them and
Hmm.
help them see the importance of feeling themselves so
Yeah.
that they can continue to give. I think there's a misunderstanding that prioritizing yourself means you're being selfish, that you never do anything
Yeah.
for anybody else again. You never, care about you don't care about anybody else's needs. And that's not true. And so I try to make things practical for them. So just like I use the example of being in the driver's seat and just needing guidance, I ask them questions about, okay, so what do you want to do? And that's generally what their goals and such are. And then I just ask them, so how are you going to do that? Or how have you been doing that? And
Hmm.
help them
Hmm.
connect the dots between I haven't been or I have been, but I'm suffering. And then you take the questions back around to what it would look like if they were first filled. What kind of impact would they have on the life of the other person? How what's the word I'm looking for? How it's so much more fulfilling when they can help someone else and not deplete
Gotcha.
themselves.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all about taking where they are. So like you said earlier, asking the right questions. And I use a
Yeah.
lot of metaphors and a lot of real life examples, because when you can see
Hmm.
the example, like
Yeah. Yeah.
every time a person gets in the car, they think about, oh yeah, she talked about me being in the driver's seat and
Yeah.
how
Absolutely.
the GPS or the map is just an aid, or how I need gas in order to go. And I need an engine in order to go.
Hmm.
Being using practical examples like that. I use the car
Yeah.
all every time they get in the car. I don't have to tell them, because now every time they get in the car, they automatically think of
Yeah.
conversations that we had in it. And so
Absolutely.
I try to tie their real life circumstances, cooking dinner, driving cars, raising children, whatever,
Hmm.
to what I'm trying to help them understand and help them guide them through with coaching. And I find that that keeps me from having to tell them.
Right.
I can show them through the proper questions.
Right. Exactly. Okay. All right. So, where are you located? No, don't let me, because I have your bio. I'm gonna look that up. Okay, you're Texas. That's right.
Yeah,
Texas,
I'm into
Texas.
yes.
Love it over there. Love Texas. Love it. Love it. So, where you are now and with the professional counseling, right? Is there a difference between coaching and counseling? Because we know there's a difference between therapy, but is counseling and therapy similar?
Yes, counseling and therapy are similar. I think the
Okay.
the biggest difference between the therapy and the coaching and the counseling is the simplest way I've been able to put it together is who's in control, who has the answers.
Ah,
Also, it boils down to, are you looking at the past, the present, or the future? Because
Mm,
counseling and therapy walks you back to the past and things that have
right,
happened to you in the past, and helps bring you
right.
up to your present. And of
Gotcha.
course, you know that coaching starts you in your present and helps you move
Right.
forward to your
That's
future. And
awesome.
so counseling and therapy, um, they go hand in hand, but it's also who has the power, who has all
Yeah.
the answers.
Yeah,
It's
that's
always
good.
yeah.
That's really good. That's really good. That is really good. So, in your experience, and I know in my own, um, working with women of color, what types of issues do they have that you've kind of helped them with that has to do with workplace?
Oh my gosh, with workplace, it's generally not being able, the feeling of not being able to express their true feelings. There's
Okay.
always the fear of being labeled as the angry Black woman. And
Mm,
then there is the I want to call it a belief, but it's really not a belief. Unfortunately, it's our reality, where we think we have to work so much harder
right.
than our counterparts. And so it's usually being able to process feelings. What I've been working with is processing those feelings and how to express those feelings in a way that honors themselves, but also gets them heard. And then
Right.
also just confidence. Sometimes, whatever workplace we're in, it just attacks our confidence. And
Yeah.
usually it's not because we're
Yeah.
not capable.
Sure.
Sometimes we are the smartest one in the room, but we
Sure.
can't present ourselves as that because people get intimidated. And
Hmm.
so we tend to shrink ourselves.
Yeah.
There's so many things that
Yeah.
happens to us as
Oh
Black
yeah.
women.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
definitely
You not only
confidence.
shrink, but you doubt yourself, but then
Yep.
then it's so much more on you, depending if you're in a toxic,
Mhm.
environment,
Mhm.
then being this,
Mhm.
first of all, I've experienced it, being the only Black woman in the room is not
Yes.
a good place. It's
Yes.
just not.
Yes. Right. Right.
We've been, I don't know where we got that from, but when you live it, you'd be like, no. And being the smartest one in the room
Yep.
is doubly
Yep.
not good.
Yep.
It does something to your demeanor. It
Mhm.
changes you. It
Mhm.
mentally, it does something to you. Because I know just working, and I've always worked for myself. I've owned a real estate for about 20 years, but I went back to the workforce because I was asked to go back
Mhm.
for a project, and so I've, I've I now I know why I don't work for nobody, but it was the worst 4 years. It was
Yeah.
enjoy. I understood the mission. That I loved their mission. We could do so much. I was gung ho, and that being in a toxic environment, it wears you down. It wears you
Yeah.
down quicker than you know. And I was only there 4 years, so
Yeah.
I'm saying if I'm worn down in 4 years,
You're right.
I could just imagine someone in this environment for 15,
That's
20
right.
years,
That's right.
you
That's
know?
right.
And it comes back to you as, that strong woman, Black strong woman coach to say, hey, you gotta slow it down. This is
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
good enough as you are.
That's
And I've
right.
had so many in that 4 years, I've made so many friends, right? And I can tell you, I want to say two are alive.
Mm.
Two are
Oh,
alive, and I was only there 4 years. They were there longer, and they've died of cancer, just out of just boom, cancer done like that.
wow.
It was just like
Oh
it
my
wasn't,
God.
it wasn't like, oh, chemo, like a process. It was straight to hospice. It was just
Oh my
I,
gosh.
and it's detrimental, and I can't
Right.
explain to women. I know you say it, and you say it during your speeches and your presentation as a speaker. I can't tell people how much that's important. Caring for yourself, in that perspective in the workplace is so important.
And it spills into everything else because you're so exhausted at work, and then you come home and that carries over into your home life. And so you're struggling with your children, or you're struggling with your
Yep.
spouse, or you're having difficulty in your
Yeah.
friendships, and we
Yeah.
don't realize how everything is
That
connected.
is
But
correct.
oh my gosh, we suffer so much.
We
So much.
do. We
I am
do.
still a part of the workforce, and so I'm doing that and my coaching practice
Right. Right.
at the same time, and it's just the the times
I
I
know
have
what
to
you're
remind
feeling.
myself, you teach this very thing to other women, but look
Yes.
where you're
I
at.
know exactly what you're
It's
feeling.
so
I know it.
different, and I get what you're saying. You support the mission. You love what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and I am sometimes I am very organized, very detail
Yeah.
oriented.
Mm-hmm.
I am a critical thinker. I'm very smart, and all of that shows up at
Yep.
work. And then the people around me, in my face, they love me, but then they're also intimidated. And I had to teach myself, you do what you're teaching other people to do, and you stand
Yeah.
firm and you stand
Yeah.
confident,
Yeah.
and you don't let that destroy you. There was
Yeah.
a time I was just, my neck and everything
Yep. Me
was
too.
hurting every day,
Me
and
too.
it was just difficult, and I
Yeah.
felt like I wasn't being heard,
Yeah.
and I knew I was right. And I'm not one of these people that has to boast about, oh, I'm
Yes.
right, my way.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
Exactly.
knew I was right and wasn't being heard, and I had to take a step back. And I'm like, wait a minute, you need to become the student for a moment. And what
Yeah.
have you told other women, and and kind of guided them through, and you try to
Yeah.
encourage them. You do those things. It People don't really understand how hard it is for Black women just in general. And when I
Yeah.
first
Absolutely. They don't.
coaching, my focus wasn't strictly Black women, but
Right.
we need it. And it's not that the other communities don't need
Right.
it as
Exactly.
well,
It's not. It really
but
isn't. It
we
really isn't.
need people who look like us to
Mm-hmm.
say, girl, I
It's
got
true.
you. Come on, let's
Absolutely.
do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's so very true. It's
yeah,
so very true. When you were going through this, and I know as soon as you said that, I had the headaches. I had the headaches. Soon as 9 o'clock came, it's like headache. And I mean, I've
yep,
never had a
yep.
migraine in my entire life, never. And
Mm,
I self-diagnosed. I said, this headache is blinding. I would have to close
yeah,
the blinds. It was just horrible.
yeah,
And you know, like you said, I know I was right. What I was saying wasn't rude. What it was backed by, I'm even given statistics and
yes,
scientifically, and they
yep.
would look at me now. It was even worse when we were on Zoom, and the
Mm,
faces they were given, it's like, oh, it was just they would roll their eyes. No one, it was like I couldn't believe it. I would have to check myself and turn my
yeah,
camera off. And it's like, talk to myself.
yeah,
Okay, calm down, calm down.
yeah,
And you were
yeah.
saying something that was relevant to,
Right,
to expand everyone, every
right,
community. You were
right,
giving
right.
your insight to help the entire all of the communities. Yet
Mhm,
they look at you like, really?
mhm,
Like, really?
mhm.
That's not true.
Right.
Even was told that something that was a black statistic, someone white told me that's not true. I was like, what? I had to
Wow.
crack up laughing. I was like, really? Are you serious right now? Are you really serious right now? That's what I had to say. I said, I got to calm down. I said, you know
Yeah,
what? You know,
yeah.
but they really, and what gets me is that the subs, if you, I know you probably experienced that, the subs, you know,
Mhm.
one that really gets me is I think you're overly sensitive.
Mm. Wow.
That spoke volumes to me.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
overly sensitive.
Mm.
Wow. But I'm not the one breaking down and crying when you don't
Yeah,
get your way.
yeah,
Right? I'm not the one. But I am explaining to you something is scientifically backed, and plus I have stats to back me up, and you're telling me something totally different. So,
yeah.
those subs get to you. And I count myself pretty strong-willed, but when they when it starts to question really what who you are
Yes.
and your abilities, it starts to get to you. And when you swallow it, and it's like swallowing poison, when you
That's
keep
right.
quiet and
That's
you just swallow
absolutely
it.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you
Mhm.
swallow the poison, you swallow it, and it goes in your body. You just every morning you suck it up, and you still got that poison sitting there, and it's bubbling up. I'm telling
Yep.
you, I had it all in my neck. I
Mhm.
had it, my back. I couldn't walk. My
Yep.
head was killing me. I
Mm.
was so fog brained, I couldn't think.
Yeah.
It was just really bad. I was miserable.
Mm.
And I've never been like that, if I was sick or something, but this was
Sure.
not,
Sure.
this was my first my mental breakdown that and I've come from a childhood trauma. So, I know what it feels like when you're depressed, but this was different. This is a
Yeah.
different feeling. This is a
Yeah.
different feeling. And I was like, it was questioning everything and who
Yep.
God told me who I was. It
Mhm.
questioned that part. And when I felt that it questioned who God made me, and I'm like, whoa, I gotta go to the doctors.
Yeah. Yeah. It's time to take care of this. Absolutely.
Yeah, I gotta go
Absolutely.
to the doctors. And I went immediately to the doctors and I told him what was going on, and he addressed that and he's like, Edna, I know you for a while. I'm gonna tell you, you're the type of person, maybe you have to step away. You might have to step away. I'm
Mhm.
gonna give you a note to step away. And I went
Yeah.
right back to therapy. And because not talking about it was getting to me too, and
Yes.
it was getting to me. And that
Yeah.
got to, I mean, I was choking. I could feel this every time it would get here. It would just get here. I felt like literally, I was like, I got to go take care of this. I really do.
Yeah.
And audience, we really have to, as Black women, and we're with the Black woman coach here, you really have to take care of ourselves. Would
We
you
do.
agree, Chauntae? Could you add to that?
I agree 1000%. And the difficulty is we've been raised like
Ooh,
this. This is what our mothers did and our grandmothers did
yeah,
and our great grandmothers did. And
yeah,
so we've been conditioned that this is who we're supposed to be, how
yeah,
we're supposed to respond.
absolutely.
And it's hard to learn to do something different.
Different.
And, you know, we tell ourselves we have good intentions. Once
Right,
I do this, then I can do that. Or I don't
right.
have time to go to the doctor because I need to do this, that, or the other.
Mhm. Ooh,
Or
that's
we
a good
ignore
one.
symptoms because
Yeah,
we think, oh, I'm just tired. I'm
yeah,
overworked.
yeah,
I just need to sleep, but then I can't sleep because I have to do, And
yeah,
so I think what I've seen is women have relaxed a little bit when they hear me say you were conditioned like
yeah,
this. There's nothing wrong with you.
yeah,
You
right.
didn't necessarily take a
Yeah,
wrong
yeah,
turn. If
right,
you look back over life, you were
right.
conditioned. You're doing exactly what you've been taught to do.
Mhm.
What I'm trying to do is help women see that this is not the way so that
Right.
generations
To
to
break
come
that. Yeah,
don't keep following in our
yeah,
footsteps. We
yeah.
we talk about unlearning the things that we have been
Mhm,
taught
mhm.
about being a Black woman and being a strong
Yeah,
Black woman. And so I go through examples like one of the things I'll ask is if they've heard what happens in this house stays in this
ooh,
house. And
yeah.
100% of the women in the room will say,
Oh,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
oh, yeah, oh,
absolutely,
yeah.
we grew up with that.
Right.
And just helping them understand that what that really taught us was not to share when we had a need, not to talk about places where we needed some assistance or things were going wrong. That taught us to keep everything to ourselves, not
Mhm.
express our feelings, not express our emotions, and going through how to break that cycle
Yeah.
and reach out and open up. I also always bring up the phrase never let them see you sweat.
Oh, yeah.
All been told
Sheesh.
that we got to be better than. Well, that's why we push harder and harder and harder, and
Harder,
we
harder, yeah,
pretend to be okay. Someone says,
yeah,
hey, how you doing? Our standard reply is, I'm fine. Oh, I'm
yeah.
good.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. But
Yeah.
it's hard out here for Black women.
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to stay that way. I think
No.
uh,
Mm-mm. No.
we can support each other. Now, the one thing that I've been talking about lately that's not always popular, but Black women are hard on Black women, and we've got to
Oh,
stop that.
sure. We are.
Stop that.
We
We
are.
don't like to hear that we're the problem,
Yeah.
but sometimes we are the problem.
Yeah.
We are hard on other Black women.
Yeah. And we have to stop being first hard on ourselves. We won't be hard on others.
That's
So the
right.
way you treat other people is the way you're treating yourself.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
It's the way
it.
you treat yourself.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I've learned that, I hear that too a lot is, in business, because I business coach a lot. Oh, well, I won't go to Black people because they don't support you. I was like, how many times that if I gave $1 for every time I heard that, I'm gonna tell you, you know what? This is what I believe. If you selling, I don't know, if you're selling um, charcoal,
Uh-huh.
I live in an apartment. Okay,
Mhm.
why would I buy? It's not that I don't want to buy from you. I,
Right.
it's not.
Right.
I can't use charcoal.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's just
Exactly.
common sense. I can't use charcoal. But when I
Right.
say it to you, you take it in defense. Oh, you don't want to support me. No, I will sit with you and see everything to me is transactional.
Mhm.
If you say to me, Edna, we want to have this conversation and we want to collaborate together. Let's get on a call. Let's talk about it, right?
Mhm.
We're going to have a memorandum of understanding.
Right.
So you know what you're doing, I know what I'm doing, and guess what? It makes me accountable that I'm not going to lie to you.
That's right.
And business is done like that. But when we say, yeah, just support me, come support me and show me something. It's like buying a pocketbook on the street. You just can't buy everything. You just gotta wait a
Right.
minute. Let me think it
That's
through. Let me ask somebody else. But
right.
we don't think like that. It's like as soon as a Black person, approaches you and it's you. Oh, you want to be friends with them. The other thing
Mhm.
is the other thing I have encountered. I'm the person that's always say, "Oh, you're just so beautiful today," and it's not that I compliment you. I compliment.
Right. Right.
I
Right. Right.
I make it my business to talk to other sisters. That's my
Mhm.
But when
Mhm.
I see that you don't reciprocate, it's probably because it has nothing to do with me. It has all to
That's
do with
right.
you.
That's right.
So I've learned not to take offense for that and not to class everyone in that, well, Black people don't support you. Black people don't
Right.
really like each other. I've learned that they have their own problems.
That's right.
Once I got to a place that I was loving on myself, that I could say,
Mhm.
hey,
Mhm.
I contributed to some of the attitude because I had attitude, like you gonna
Yes.
give me attitude, give it to you back.
Uh-huh.
Right? Right?
Right. Right.
You give
Right.
it to them back. So
Right.
it's a lot of work. It's oftentimes like you just said, sometimes when we're the coaches, we have to coach ourselves. We have to do some work.
Mhm.
We as Black women got to do some work and mostly not overworking yourself in somebody else's something in order to give you something.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's right.
it's hard. Like you said, it's hard, but it can be easier if we just do the work. Just do the
If we do
work.
the work. And we don't want to do the work, just as people. I'm not even saying Black women, I'm saying just as
In
people.
general, in
We
general.
don't want to do the work. We want to stick something in the microwave and have a full course meal, in 30 seconds,
We
But
do. We do.
success just doesn't work that way.
No.
Success involves blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
It involves you taking a
Lots of those
real look
tears,
at
babes.
yourself and saying, "Hey, this is where I messed up, or this is where I can improve. I improve. I have it going on over here. Let me
Yeah.
work out this over there." It's
Yeah.
just like that's why weight loss companies, these pills and things are so popular. Like
Yeah.
I want to lose more weight. I've lost weight and I want to lose more weight. I haven't gotten out and walked in forever. It's like, are you going to do the exercise? Are you going to do the work? You want to sit around and do the same
That's the
thing
truth. That's the
and
truth.
get the results. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how we approach things. We want the husband, but we don't want to go through the growing pains of
No.
dating. Or
Yeah.
we want, lots of money, but we want to sit around at home and not have to work for the money.
Yeah.
We want these fancy meals, but we don't want to have to cook them. It's like,
Yeah.
it's all in the work. You have to take responsibility for
Mhm.
yourself. You have to do the work.
Sure do. Sure do. This is awesome. I love what we're talking about. And I know we're coming to the end of the show, but Chauntae, you have really, really added to my thoughts, and you got the adrenaline pumping in me already. I like it. I like it.
Thank you.
Um, what's coming on the horizon for you that you can share with my audience that you're going to be having over in Texas?
So I have a program that just launched in July that I call the Chauntology Speaks Experience. My coaching practice is called Chauntology Speaks, and
Okay.
that's where it's a 12-month program where women, we work each month, and we do the work in the program,
Yes.
and we address
Okay.
the self-esteem issues and the mental health and the
Okay.
expectations and all of that.
Okay.
And so I am looking to expand that. I know that's for people that live in the Metroplex. I'm in the Dallas Fort Worth
Right.
Metroplex. And so I'm looking to expand that to people who want to do that same work, but just don't live in Texas. So I would love to hear from your listeners if they are interested.
Okay.
You may can relate to this is you put it out there and the people don't want to do the work, but then they say, I wish I had somebody to help me do this, that, or the other.
Mhm.
So I would love feedback from your listeners if they would be open to doing the Chauntology Speaks experience
Okay.
virtually. There are workshops, monthly workshops where we
Okay.
really get hands-on and learning. So for instance, and I know this is the end of the show, but just so that they can understand what they get into.
Sure.
The July workshop was on self-awareness, and we talked about the awareness of your thoughts, the awareness of your feelings, and the awareness of your actions and how they're all connected. And so I
Okay.
used the game of Jenga to
Uh-huh.
help demonstrate the awareness of your actions and how, just like in that game of Jenga, you
Mhm.
have to consider what happened before, you have to choose your piece strategically so that you don't
Mhm.
knock everything down. And so we do activities like that. It's fun, but you're also learning. But private coaching, you get private coaching. My husband is a chef. He cooks all the meals,
Okay.
and just really building some community. So I would love to be able to touch the lives of women that live outside of the Dallas Fort Worth
Awesome.
metroplex. So that's what's going on here. I am happy to open it up virtually if there is some interest. So
Okay.
if you're interested in having the guidance and the support and the accountability, let me know and I'll open it up.
Awesome. Well, audience, you know what to do. You know how to, get that going. So this is the end of the show, and I appreciate you, Chauntae, for being here. And leave your questions if you're watching the video on the bottom of the video. And if you are listening on iTunes, I want you to please press that button and ask the question audibly, and we'll answer it for you. Thank you so much for being here, Chauntae. This is Edna
Thank you
White,
for
your
having me.
host, and my esteemed guest, Chauntae Hollins, saying goodbye for now.
Bye.